morning. Today I'm going to look at wrapping the frame package. Now typically we will have a frame, and as we start to assemble we'll take our backing board and put that down. I'll take my book mount and place that down, check that everything is acceptable inside, make sure there's no dust, and then lower the glass down onto that and place the frame directly over the top of that. Turn the whole bundle over and start to pin the back. Now, if you're working at conservation level or at museum level, so level 1 and level 2 framing, the high level of framing, what you would want to do is wrap your bundle. In other words, taking the glass and the mount and wrap them together to make one secure unit. The advantage of that is that you're sealing in your artwork and your glass together, and it creates a closed unit which preserves the artwork just that little longer. It means that no bugs or critters or dust can get in from the side. When we create a frame and when we put all the pieces together, we typically pin the back and then paper around the back so nothing can get in from the back. But sometimes really small particles or really small insects can get in from the front. And so this is to prevent anything from getting in underneath the glass. Now I do this for conservation or museum pieces, but I also do it if I have a frame which is really flaky. In other words, particles and bits and pieces continually fall off and they get in under the glass. So as you're finishing off, so these little bits come in. And a lot of people don't like to do the wrapping because they feel it's an extra piece of work. But if I think sometimes how long it takes me to redo and redo because of all the little particles that are coming in because of a very flaky or dusty frame, then I certainly do this. Sometimes I have customers who bring me old frames and they like the fact that the bits of gold or whatever are coming off, and they like the peel of that, but those can be a real, they can be really tedious when you're trying to assemble and finish off the frame. So it's really nice to wrap at that point. So I'm going to start off by using a P90. So first of all, make sure that everything is nice and clean. There are no particles in here because once I've sealed it, I can't get back inside very easily. I'd have to undo it all. And I really want all of my pieces to be the same size. So I'm lining up my glass and my all the pieces that I want together, and I'm going to take a piece of P90 tape. Now I want it to be longer than the side I'm working on. So I'm going to take a nice long piece and I'm going to lay it onto the glass. Now I'm coming onto the glass by around 2 millimeters, maybe 3 millimeters, anything more than that, and you'll see it through the frame. I'm going to lift the whole thing up and place that flat and very gently increase a fold into the artwork. And so I'm going to work along here and work along that outside. Now when I get to the edge, I'm going to take the tape and bring it all the way around the edge of the glass and then just tuck that over. So 2 millimeters it's showing. Now the idea here is that I've taken the tape here and encouraged it around the corner and down. And the reason for that is that I don't want to have an excess of tape showing up on the corner. So let's just look at that again. I've taken the tape along. I'm going to take the tape over the top, down the side, and this little length here is the same 2 millimeters that I've got on the top, and just folding that over into the corner. Now let's go back to the long side. I'm going to squeeze that together and just gently fold that over and encourage that down. Now bear in mind there is a piece of glass there. If you run your hand along that edge, it could be a bit tricky. So I've got to the end and I'm just going to fold that over and down. Let's do the same on the other side, all the way through, folding, 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 folding right to that edge, and then folding that down. So on the back, that's nice and flat. And on the front, all you should see is about 2 millimeters of tape going all the way around the edge and onto the glass on this side. Now we repeat the exercise on the other side. I'm repeating this on the other side, slightly longer than I need. And 2 millimeters onto the glass. Lifting the bundle up, a nice good squeeze, over and over. You're encouraging that down. I'm not exactly sticking it down yet. I'm just encouraging that tape flat, squeezing the bundle together and folding a little bit down. Now the sides, remember we're going to take this up, over just a little bit. I'm interested only in seeing 2 millimeters or 3 millimeters over that piece of glass. This goes all the way along that edge. Squeeze those together and flatten that down. Same on this side, 2 millimeters over the edge. So just lifting that tape until you're happy with just a little bit of tape over the edge, around the back, squeeze and flatten. So I've taken the tape over that corner and down, so I know these corners are sealed, nice and sealed there and there. And now all I need to do is have a piece of tape that runs from here to here. Now I'm using self-adhesive tape. So there are a variety on the market of self-adhesive tapes, but be ensure that you use a self-adhesive tape that sticks to itself. So this Filmoplast P90 is a conservation level tape, and it allows you to stick to itself. So I've overlapped by about 1 inch on either side and folding down. So I'm nowhere near that corner. And I've now sealed that all the way along and into those corners. And I'll repeat it for the other side. The length between the tapes, slightly longer than the tape that is there. 2 millimeters over the edge. Folding it up. Folding it over, and I now have a sealed package. It is true that there are a multitude of fingerprints here from all the handling, and I can go back in and remove those damp cloths to ensure everything is nice and clean. And now all of these pieces can go into my frame. One thing that I would suggest is that if you were going to wrap your bundle, we normally allow a 2mm wriggle room around the edge for the frame to fit on. If you're going to wrap and add an extra layer of tape onto it, it might be wise to go with a 3mm gap as opposed to 2. In other words, you're adding 1.5. Or having taped it up, remeasure your frame to ensure that your bundle, to ensure that it will fit into your frame. So I cut mine just a little bit bigger, maybe 1mm bigger, to ensure that it'll go in easily. The other place that you can use this is if you do not want your artwork to touch the edge of the frame. So instead of lining the frame, you can seal the bundle, and now you can be sure that there'll be no ingress from the wood on the side onto your artwork.